It's a normal day at a power plant in Hong Kong when suddenly a mysterious person hacks into their system. The cooling machine is shut down and soon the heat causes a big explosion. Hundreds of workers are killed or severely wounded and people within a 10-kilometer radius are evacuated. Meanwhile, in a prison in the USA, hacker Nick is handcuffed and taken out of his cell. The cops find a hidden device among his things and discover all of the criminals on Nick's block have recently received some money in their accounts, so they think Nick did it. He immediately denies it, so he's put in solitary confinement, where he exercises to keep himself busy. In China, Captain Dai explains to the government that the power plant was hacked using a remote access tool or RAT. This was possible because the plant's systems are very old and lack security. It's also revealed that the same model reactors in the USA were attacked at the same time. Dai thinks he can catch the hacker, but he needs access to the plant's computers to do the tracking. Sadly, the power plant is still incredibly hot and it's impossible to enter, so Dai will have to wait for cooldown. Dai asks the FBI for help and Agent Carol has to convince her boss that working with China is a good idea. Eventually Dai gets the code from the hacker attack on the American plant, but he doesn't have the knowledge to crack it. He decides to recruit his sister Lene, who is a network engineer. That night, the Mercantile Trade Exchange in Chicago is also targeted by the hacker and all the numbers start going up at an insane speed. The next day the FBI has a meeting to analyze the case and by looking at the code they conclude the RAT was written by two people. Dai isn't impressed by the report because it's incredibly basic and asks Carol to get Nick to help them. Nick has a long history of robbing banks with his hacking and Carol thinks it's an awful idea to trust him, so Dai has no choice but to share some secrets. Half of the RAT code was written by him as a gag while he was in college and the other half was written by Nick. It seems the hacker stole their code and modified it to do the attacks. If they want to catch this guy, they'll need the person who truly understands the code. An FBI agent visits Nick in prison, offering to get him out if he helps them with the case. However, Nick reads the document and notices he'll only be out for a couple of weeks, so he refuses to sign it. Instead, he offers a new deal. If he catches the hacker, his sentence ends. If he doesn't, then they can send him back to jail. The FBI is so desperate that they take his deal and Dai picks Nick up for a warm reunion. During their flight, Dai shows Nick the modified code and Carol scolds him, since part of the deal was that Nick could only get computer access under FBI supervision. Moments later, Nick is allowed to look at the terminals of the Mercantile Trade Exchange, which have the safest firewall. The only way to insert a virus would be in person, but only the boss has access to it with his thumbprint. Nick looks at the information in the system and discovers someone hid some code in the boss's USB drive. While thinking about potential suspects, the boss remembers a guy named Lozano who only worked there for a month and mysteriously disappeared. Later, Nick and the siblings analyze the code and notice unfinished lines. They concluded the hacker needed money fast, so he attacked the soy market to fill his account and now he can spend his time finishing the code. This means he's planning an even bigger attack. Meanwhile, the FBI finds Lozano on the security cameras and by looking at his tattoos, they discover he's a part of a gang and faked his identity to get the job. Sending a bunch of agents to see him would look suspicious, so Nick and Lene volunteer to do the talking.